Have you heard the story of Mr. Jones who dies and goes to heaven? When he arrives, St. Peter is waiting at the pearly gates and takes Mr. Jones on a tour of heaven. Mr. Jones is awestruck. The streets are paved indeed with gold. Beautiful mansions glisten in the sunshine. Choirs of angels sing the most beautiful songs. Partway through the tour of heaven, however, Mr. Jones' eye is drawn to this large building with no windows, an enormous warehouse, but it had one door. What an odd structure for heaven, Jones said. St. Peter said, "You don't really want to see that." And Mr. Jones said, "Yeah, I do, really I do." So he races across the lawn, he pushes open the door to discover rows and rows of shelves, floor to ceiling. Stacked on those shelves are white boxes, and the boxes all have names on them. Mr. Jones says, "Does one have my name on it?" He opens it up. When he pulls it out, his mouth drops, his pulse quickens, and finally he says to Peter, "What are all these wonderful things in this box? Are they the good things in store for me here in heaven?" "No," replied St. Peter. "Those were all the blessings that came your way when you were alive on earth, but you never received." Sad look came over Mr. Jones. He looked back in the box again, and he said to Peter, "But why?" he asked Peter. "Why did I miss out on all these blessings?" St. Peter said, "That's a long story." So, a story from the Christian tradition, talking about what we do with our present lives, what we miss sometimes. Why did I miss out on all these blessings? How do we miss out on life's countless gifts? Are we too preoccupied? Are we indeed a container, a bowl perhaps, one that is filled with unappealing fragments, so full of them that we have no room to allow life's countless rewards to flow? Fragments of unhelpful emotions and fears. They're numerous. They color, not in a good way, our sense of reality. Here's a list, maybe. Consider what exists inside you. I mean, what you might be holding if you were a bowl. Disappointment, embarrassment, irritation, jealousy, fear, doubt, a bruised ego, maybe an inflated one, dissatisfaction, an overwhelming sense of chaos or dread. Do I need to say more? I don't think I do. First thing I do when I hop in the car is turn on NPR. I love public radio, and yet we all know news is coming at us constantly about the dire situation we exist. It is pause, a reason for concern and for being troubled. And yet, if we remain constantly allowing fears and concerns about what is happening now and anger, there's no room for developing energy to do what we can to fight when the struggle arises for us. What is inside you constantly? Frustration, anger, negativity. Yesterday, in the first crafternoon activity from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and I asked Linda if I could share this, she said, "I've had a whole hour and a half, almost 2 hours, where I didn't think about anything serious. 2 whole hours of getting to do things with your hands and giving your mind and your spirit a break from that constant stress of worry and concern." We need those moments. There's a story about a student. He graduated. This is from the Zen tradition, so I pulled one from the Christian tradition, one from Zen Buddhism. So he climbed this mountain, and he wanted to knock on the door. The monk invited him in. He sat down. He said, I just graduated from college. I know a lot of things, and I just thought I'd check in with you and see what knowledge you knew. And so he sat at the table. He chattered and he chattered. I know this, da-da-da. He chattered and he chattered. The monk got up, got the hot water off the stove, put a little tea in the cup, and he sat down and he poured the water in the cup. Some of you know this story. So the young man is chattering, and now the cup is overflowing, and he steps back, pushes his chair back, and goes, hey, man, what gives? And the monk said, there is no room for any knowledge that you're asking me. Your cup is full until you pause, take a break, and clear out what you think you know. I can't share anything with you. You arrive with your cup overflowing and no room to learn anything, said the monk. So the student stopped talking and listened. To become an eager, lifelong, engaged learner, we have to stop. We need to look, we need to listen, we need to pause for moments of quieting the mind, opening the heart. We may be accustomed to holding all the stress life gives us, but maybe we're less comfortable with seeking the joy that life also presents us. For example, how easy is it to come to coffee hour, go home and say, well, that was a good laugh with the folks here at UUC, but now what's going on in our country today? I'm so upset about that. And for a brief moment, you had a reprieve from life stress, right? And then you totally let go of it. It's not a bad thing to experience our emotions, to notice maybe a broken heart, fear, a nameless one even, that sense of discomfort that arises for little known reason, concern for our fellow siblings, brothers and sisters. Maybe there's also a secret desire for revenge or one's comeuppance. I got to tell you, I watch politics, and I have a secret desire sometimes for some of our politicians to like all of the ill disregard for so many, and I want bad things to happen. That's horrible, right? I notice my desire for comeuppance for people who want to close the doors for so many of us, LGBTQ community, persons of color, transgender, young. My cup is filling up, right? My bowl I'm going to let that go. I'm going to pull one more story, and then because I'm inviting you to go away today and do something you don't normally do this week. Go a different route to a place that you normally go to. Do something you don't normally do. This is the last story. Sue Bender writes about 3 bowls. She visited with a family of Mennonites for a summer to do some research. And she said, while watching them, I realized that we're all bowls. There are 3 kinds of bowls. The first one is inverted. The second one has cracks, and the third, imperfectly formed as it is clean and open to receive. Bender says, sometimes I am the first inverted bowl, so busy being productive that I don't notice the very thing I want presents itself to me. Sometimes I'm the second one. It's a cracked bowl. I have such a fierce judging voice that focuses on what's not working, what's not right, and I'm unable to see or appreciate all the things that are going well. Sometimes, wonderful times, I am the third clean bowl, able to be fully present. She wrote that in a lovely, sweet book called Everyday Sacred. How do we make room in our proverbial bowl for loving kindness, for hope, for gratitude, curiosity, a sense of order, and yes, humor. Yes, humor is a spiritual practice, so I hope you will seek times to laugh. Humor, a spiritual practice. How do we change? How do we take the stress that's on our shoulders and balance it a little bit with joy? Sit in a different chair in your home for a while. Look out the window. When you are in line at the store and you feel cranky because you're in a hurry and that person's talking and talking and yakking, and you're watching the clerk who's holding her breath, breathe for her. Or try this. I dare you. When you're in line at the store, I dare you. Look around while everybody's standing there like this and go, life is about kindness, right? Watch. They'll either back up from you. I know I've tried this. They'll back up from you, worried about your sanity, or they'll grin and laugh, and you'll have that little reminder. Now listen. Recognizing that Unitarian Universalists affirm and promote the living tradition we share that draws from many sources, including wisdom from the world's religions, which inspire us in our ethical and spiritual life, I'm going to stop this part with these words by the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu's words. Heaven and earth have no preference. A person may choose one over another, but to heaven and earth, they're all the same. The high, the low, the great, the small, all are given a little bit of light. All are given a place to rest. All are given a place to rest. We can walk around with a little bit of hell within us, or we can walk around with nothing but heaven, and then we're not honoring the challenges that we see, or we can balance. Heaven and hell can exist at the same time. I'm going to step away from this pulpit and paint a little bit. And if you're interested in doing a little piano in the background whenever you want, I'm doing something different. If I can do this, I invite you to try something different this week. Thank you. Improvising is good. Thank you. So here's the thing. We've talked about this earlier. This bowl is a symbol. So I tipped it because I hope that you'll take this image away with you this week. And as you think about the image of the bowl tipping, I want to invite you to let go of a few things. Will you let go of fear? Will you let go of being stuck in the past? Can you let go of knowing everything? No one is personal. I know things too at this older age. But I also noticing that a lot of younger people have much to teach me. I'm going to let go of knowing things. I'm going to work on letting go of negativity. Again, Florida, political climate is tough. I get it. But I'm going to balance my knowledge of the negativity with taking care of myself, creativity, doing things with my hands so that I can go back and do the hard work of escorting young women to a health clinic when they need an abortion, to speaking up for housing in St. Pete, to doing what I can to make a difference. I'm going to let go of unkind speech. We know many people can throw unkind speech, but we're going to try to work on letting go of our own unkind speech. Thinking the worst of others. There was an individual in another congregation who said, I'm leaving this congregation. I've been sick for 2 weeks. I'm very active here. Nobody called me, and I'm gone. I thought, why didn't you reach out and call me and say, I'm sick? Why didn't you reach out to somebody? I'm going to work on letting go of thinking the worst of other people. And reach out and check in, invite clarity. Lack of self-care. I know we grow up with this thing that we have to take care of others, but I'm going to invite you to be selfish. Take that extra nap if you need. You don't have to feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Lack of appreciation. Please live a life of gratitude. Pause so that we are more thoughtful in our words. Let it all go. And reminding you of what our children said, eat spaghetti for energy. Welcome knowledge in all forms. Sprinkles of never give up. Truckloads of love. May you fill your bowl with truckloads of love. And one of my favorites, a little bit of dirt so you can grow flowers. Blessed be, may these words be of support for you this week.